start this here recording for the YouTube.
Hello, YouTube.
Hello, YouTube.
YouTubers,
How's it going?
what's up?
Yeah. And we'll go ahead and get ready to go for the podcast. Y'all ready?
Ready to go, brother.
Here it goes. We're going in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to another episode of Business Bros. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are on it again. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful Wednesday. If you're listening to us in a recording, I don't know what day it is, but we recorded it on a Wednesday.
It is a Wednesday.
It is a beautiful Wednesday.
Summer Wednesday. Hernan here, host of the Business Bros podcast with my co-host,
James, the insurance bro.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? Oh, the insurance
the
bro
rest
with
of
Pipeline.
it?
Yeah, with Pipeline Insurance. Yeah.
Oops.
There we go.
I'm over here trying to set up the watch party and all that stuff.
See?
Live
Like,
on see, here we
Facebook.
go. That's
There
what
you go.
happens when I get distracted.
We're males. We can't do two things at the same time,
Keep
That's
the
right.
mistakes in,
right?
man.
So that's how it works. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
We always do.
Intro. See?
Intro
I'm about to
time. Here
cut
we
things
go.
off myself.
See, I know. It's Wednesday. It's not
It's
even
Wednesday.
Friday. Come
Hump
on,
day.
man. Come on. Here we go. All right. Well, as mentioned previously, we do have another exciting show planned for y'all today. We have someone very special coming from a ways away, as I understand it. Mr.
baby.
Steve Heroux from Victory Selling. And
Yes,
man,
sir.
this is going to be some good information. I already know you're going to dig deep into Steve's story. But before we get to that, unadulterated, I love it. But before we get to that,
365 pairs of shoes, ladies and gentlemen, is what we're trying to reach. So if you have a gently used pair of shoes, messed it up again, right? If you have a gently used pair of shoes, you want to donate new shoes, you want to donate cash, hit James up 619-884-0045 or james@csfirst.com. He'll roll over on his Harley and pick up those donations from you. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, they're going to the homeless, so high heels probably won't work. So if you have something that they can use on a regular basis, they do a lot of walking, so they go through shoes quite quickly.
4 to 5 months.
And,
Just
anything
to save
got.
you some time, I'm going to give you the shoes off my feet.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank
Appreciate
you,
that.
Steve.
All right.
I just
That
have to walk
is-
to the car, so no big deal.
Dude,
Quick stop at DSW.
Yeah.
love you, man. That's awesome.
You got it.
So
Love
cool.
it, love
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you very much. So, ladies
got
and
it.
gentlemen, you have no excuse. All right. You
I
ready?
think that's pretty much it for the intros. We got no other events. I'm not even going to bother about the Agents Alliance. I said it once. It's
You know
cool.
what? We do have an event coming up.
Oh, yeah?
And I'll let Steve talk about it because Steve's actually going to be teaching at that event.
All
LCA,
right.
Lab Coat Agents Live next week. Well, depending on when you're listening to it. Might
Yeah.
already be past. But if you're getting this before, it's the 18th and 19th of June at the Hotel Del. It's going to be an amazing event. I mean, just the who's who in the real estate industry is going to be there teaching, and then they let me in for some reason as well. So appreciate that. Again, Nick and Tristan, Lab Coat Agents Live. So check it out.
Lab Coat Agents Live, and I've heard quite a bit from it's people start talking about the little events. There's big events that happen regularly that people kind of push. Mike
Yeah.
Ferry events being one of them, and Lab Coat Agents is another one. I just see and hear the whisper about it all the time.
This one's great, man. Straight up truth, and it's going to be great. So and Steve 20.
By the way,
20% off.
that's what I was
Steve
going to
20.
say. You have a
I just
promo
forgot
code,
about
right?
that. Yeah. So thanks for reminding me.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
yeah,
I
man,
mean,
should be good.
any training is good training,
Great.
right? On top of that, if you can get it at a discount, it's even better.
Yeah, these guys put on a top-notch event. So no upsells. This ain't going to be you jumping on your chair, dancing around, singing. So this is going to be real stuff. Come
Practical,
prepared.
tactical.
Come prepared to learn.
And that's the beauty of it, right? So tell me a little bit about your background. Where'd you come from?
Sure. Long story short, Boston. Grew up in Boston. Stanley Cup playoffs, Game 7 tonight. Bruins about to take the cup, but that's another story. But yeah, so second grade through high school, I did not say one word. I mean, nothing. No dances, no dates, no prom, none of that. The only thing I was good at was sports because I could just do that by myself, go shoot threes all day, not be around people. And then my freshman year of college, I actually got a job selling Cutco knives. And many of y'all know Mr. Eric Gilman, my close friend. And that was an interesting occasion in my start in sales because I got the job, went home, told my parents I was going to be selling knives. And my dad said, you're not doing that. And I said, why not? He goes, well, 1, you don't speak. 2, nobody's going to buy your knives. And 3, I'm not giving you the money for the knife kit. And I said, all right. Hey, Mom, you got $150. And so Mom gave me the money, and I'd never sold anything in my life. Deathly afraid of people. Certainly never thought I'd be in sales. And I think my first 3 weeks in the business, I was number one in all of New England. I made $1,600, which for a freshman in college might as well have been 1.6 million.
Yeah.
And ended up staying with them all through college. My senior year was number one in the country with Cutco. And
Cutco must have a really good training program, because I hear a lot of people who've gone through that and moved on to so many different.
Y'all know Eric Gilman. Y'all know Jesse Wright.
Yes.
I mean, the list is like endless of people that have really cut their teeth, in that business. And
so how does a kid who doesn't say anything, who couldn't get a date in high school, right? How does that kid turn into a top-notch agent in sales?
I learned early on that when I first saw the training manual and I first started reading it, my aunt was the first one I did a demo to, and I'm reading it, and it's just full of like sales script and just cheesy garbage, old school, antiquated stuff. And I didn't know that it was old school or antiquated. I just knew I couldn't say these words. This is awful.
Not me.
So I ripped up the training manual and then just decided to do something completely novel in selling, which is telling people the truth. So that's what I did. And so
what was your truth?
That knives are expensive, right? And whenever you guys know you're selling something that's expensive, they teach you not to mention the price and not to say it's expensive. I, of course, did the total opposite of everything they told me to do and said, listen, these are really great knives, but they are really expensive. Again, I'm selling $80 knives. I mean, that's worth more than my life right at this point. So I just went to the store, got a bunch of food, brought that to people's houses, let them cut with the knives. They bought stuff. And that was really how I did it. I didn't have a script. I wasn't cheesy. I didn't do all those lines. And I'm a only child, so I'm one of one, very small family. And as y'all know, if you're in real estate, a lot of realtors don't make it once they get outside their family. Mm-hmm. So they never learned how to get referrals. So I had to do it if I wanted to survive. But more importantly, I mean, I wanted to get the hell out of my parents' house. I mean, those of you guys that know Seinfeld, my parents are the Costanzas. I mean, they are Frank and Estelle. And if Mom and Dad, you're listening to this, you already know.
Yeah.
But
I've stereotyped
I
before.
needed to get out of there. And so the only way I was going to do that was to make more money. And the only way to do that was to get referrals. So I just knew early on I better learn how to get referrals really quickly.
So let's hover a little bit on the script thing, because in almost any sales industry, they're going to push you should have a script, right? And one of the things I like to say is learn the script, internalize it, and then make it your own, right? So, you kind of, you backhanded the script. You're like, dude, I don't want any of this. Right. And you totally did it different. What did you learn, and what are you teaching that to have agents like, do I learn a script? Do I not do I make up my own? Because making up your own script is going to come with trial and error. Right. I mean, that's, and a lot of times there are people who get into this industry who don't have the comfort of being at home with mom and dad, who don't have, any of that. They need to close a deal like yesterday because they got bills and food that they got to buy for tomorrow. So what are you advising agents to do as far as preparation for sales? I
mean, it's a script and you have to have some sort of baseline, but if that script doesn't mesh with who you are, your personality, your morals, your ideals, all that kind of stuff, it's not going to work anyway. Think of it in sort of terms of an actor or actress. They get a script, but the best ones, they improvise, right? They ad-lib. If you watch Curb Your Enthusiasm, which is my favorite show of all time, Seinfeld's too, but Curb's one, there are no scripts. They have an outline and bullet points, and then they just roll with it. And it's unscripted is always best. And in sales, unscripted is always best. When you sound like a salesperson, you walk, talk, sleep, eat like a duck, you're a duck. If you sound like a salesperson, you are one. And if you're listening to this and you're somebody that makes phone calls or sets appointments, it doesn't do everything in person, the only thing your prospects hear is your language. They cannot see you. They can only form a mental picture of who you are. So when you let them know you're a salesperson because of your scripting and your language, and when you sound like a salesperson, you are one, that's what they think.
But Steve, we are salespeople. Like we have to come to grips with the fact that we are in sales. Like our clients expect us to sell their home. Our clients expect us to sell them the insurance that they need. Yes. Right? They have needs, and we're trying to fulfill their needs. So isn't that a little contradictory? Like, you're trying not to be salesy, but you're a salesperson?
You would think so. But the two key things to sales, which will never change, are likability and being trustworthy. And if they don't like you and they don't trust you, they're not buying. Doesn't matter how good you are. And that's the thing that people miss the most. Mm-hmm. We know we're salespeople. The other prospects know we're salespeople, but people don't want to work with salespeople, and people don't like to be sold. People love to buy. They don't like to be sold.
I love that. I'm a big I'm a big fan of Zig Ziglar and a lot of his sales techniques. Yeah. And one of the biggest things that I've taken away from him is when you get a question asked to you, you should either respond back with a question or a story.
Yeah.
Right. And it's kind of tough when you're sitting in that situation and to come up with some off the cuff story or some off the cuff question. But I think that's kind of where you're hinting at here is you do have a dialogue, you do have a script, you do have an MO, you do have a target that you want to get to. There are needs and values that need to be met by your client. But how you present that information and how you actually go about it, everything. That's the skill. That's the fundamentals that you talk about.
And you just have to be real. I mean, there's so many phonies in this business. I cannot even tell you. I mean, I don't even want to get started on the 10X bullshit and all this crap and the Jordan Belforts of the world, right? Who you follow, who you learn from is who you become. So if you want to be that aggressive used car salesman, proverbial type of person, be my guest, but you ain't my client and I ain't buying from you. I buy from people that are real. I buy from people that are charismatic, that are caring. They might be the newest person. They might screw up 100 times, but when I know they care about my best interest, that's when you have real connections with people. And that's how you build long-term success. So many people are still into the ABC, always be closing garbage. And, this from Glenn Ross in 1992. 27 years ago. We don't use beepers anymore.
Coffee are for closers.
Right? Yeah, you've heard all this, right? Yeah. I'd love to see people that would enjoy being in that environment. Getting yelled at, demeaned, condescended. Boy, that really fosters growth.
No, it doesn't. And, I actually like the always be closing. But the always be closing, I think, that term closing has a negative connotation to it. 100%. It has that sales close. 100%. But we're always looking for what the client is looking for. We're always trying to meet their need with the product or service that we have.
Right.
So you're still always closing, but I think a close is a natural progression of a good presentation. Like if you met the values, if you've Correct. Answered the questions, closing is just going to happen.
That is the key. And what most salespeople do is they literally spend a third of their sales presentation closing. I mean, they spend a third of it doing this, handling objections and all this other old school crap. When you do a great job in your sales presentation, which most people don't spend much time on, they spend all the time on learning these ridiculous closing questions. Would there anything prevent you from moving forward today? Yes, you. Right? I mean, these dumbass questions that don't work. You have to do a great sales presentation, and then the closing just happes.
So tell me a little bit about what is part of a good closing or a good sales presentation.
It's funny, and I'll start with a quick story. A lot of my social media stuff, like I just make it up because I'll get pissed off or somebody will say something and I'll just post it.
Their life, right? Life happens and you're posting your life.
And somebody told me about this ABC crap and that's how they should do sales. And again, I totally disagree, but I put a post up on LinkedIn that said ABC always be closing. When are we going to get rid of this crap? Blah, blah, blah. And I think it had 170,000 views. And like 4,000 people in Sydney, Australia know who I am, right? Because of that stupid post I did on a total...
on a whim.
Yeah, blast, right? But I got all these private messages from people all over the world going, Steve, can you please talk to my sales manager? Steve, can you please talk to my boss, right? Because it's all about closing. They didn't understand it. And one gal, she wrote, Steve, what's the one skill that if you could transfer to your clients and you could teach people about sales, what would it be? And that one skill is your ability to have your prospects ask you how to move forward.
That's the toughie.
When they say, hey, Hernan, how do we get this thing rolling? Hey, Joe, so when do we
In other
list
words,
my house?
they're closing you.
Yes, that's when you know you have it. And the only way you can do that is a couple ways. The first way is engaging with people, not building rapport. If I hear that one more time, I'm going to...
Well, do we have the same kind of dog? Do we have the same,
just,
who do we know together?
Yeah. Boy, Hernan, that's a great putter driver you have there. I love golf, right?
I got a putter driver too.
Yeah. I learned this too early on. I went to this guy's office, ironically an insurance guy, broker, and above his desk was the most... we've heard beauties in the eye of the beholder, right? And only a face a mother could love.
The lines.
There's not a person on the planet that thinks this painting is worth anything but bonfire material. I mean, god awful, right? Burn my retinas. That's how bad this painting was. And it was like 4 feet wide above his desk. And I walked in, and your eyes are drawn to this because it's a
first thing you
total
see.
monstrosity. And he sees my eyes look up, and he goes, it's a painting, isn't it? And I said, yes, sir. I go, who made you put that up there? He goes, my wife. But I was the only guy that said that. Like, who made you put that up there? Right? I go, how long has that been up there? He goes, too long, bro. Right? But every other salesperson that ever met with him goes,
that's
wow,
a wonderful
that's beautiful. And he knows you're full of crap.
Yeah.
Just be honest and engage with people. And we spent... I have another gentleman I met who he had all these amazing awards and medals and ropes and all these military honors all over his office. And I was just enthralled because I have a military family, and I just was like, man, what's this one from? What's that one from? 50 minutes later, 50 minutes, we were just talking, and he told me, goes, dude, I got like 5 minutes left before my 1 o'clock. I'm like, nah, don't even worry about it. He goes, whatever you're doing, I'm in. Whatever you cost, I'm in. I'm good. No sales presentation. Had no idea what my coaching cost. No idea what the training was like. But because I engaged with him, he was in.
Well, what do we say, Ham, about when you and I have a conversation and I'm like you and I'm about you and you've spoken the whole time about you?
Then I like you
It was
because
a good conversation.
It was a good conversation. Yeah, all I've done is talk about me.
Best conversationalists are the ones that don't say a word, right?
Right?
That's why I stay quiet over here.
Hey, you use these more, dude. That's the best thing, right? And people feel that. And so, again, in sales, guys, you got to be listening 75% of the time.
Yeah.
I mean, high, right? And
so when I was doing my research on you here, setting up before the show, I pulled up your Instagram, and there's this quote here, 2 of them that really stood out. The first one says, "Heart-centered sales pros are welcome."
Yes, sir.
And when I saw that, I'm like, okay, I get you. Heart-centered. I love that. And then the other one is always be closing. By the way, just not everybody can see this, but there's a heart-shaped birthmark.
It's true. He's not lying.
Yeah, he wears his heart on his sleeve.
Wear my heart on my sleeve. So when I saw it, I was like, all right, I feel you.
Best way to go.
No, but that's ultimately what it comes down to, right? I always think of our...
Let me interrupt you.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have to tell you this, and not that I could say who it was. You may or may not have mentioned the name, but I used to was teaching classes on sales at SDAR and San Diego Association of Realtors. And one of the guys stood up right in the middle of my class, right as I'm talking. We're talking about engaging with clients and prospects. And he goes, "Steve, can I interrupt? I have to tell you this." I go, "Sure thing." He goes, "I came from one of the big names in real estate events. And you want to know what he said about building rapport?" He leans on the table to the whole audience. He goes, "You guys want to know how to build rapport? Fake sincerity." This is a real...
You know what, though? Those types
Think
of tactics...
about that.
But those tactics will get you some deals.
Yeah.
They will build you... They will get you some revenue. They will close transactions. Here's the biggest thing for me. You talk to anybody who's been in the industry 10, 25 years, right? And you ask them, where does your business come from? They're going to almost 99% of the time tell you referrals.
Of course.
Right? And my problem with that, my biggest issue with that is not the fact that they get referrals, it's that they've done something right. It's when I turn around and talk to the 22-year-old kid who's just getting in the industry and hears referrals, they have no idea how to get there.
Right.
How does that happen?
Yeah. No one teaches it, right? It's all this garbage. It's all this closing and get the transaction. It's not going to sustain itself long term. If you look at any of the people that are the aggressive, in your face, I won't mention the names again, you know who they are. They will always not be closing, right? They'll always be chasing, because what closers do is they literally always have to close. You know why? Because they never get repeat and referral business. They are always chasing the next prospect. It's a big game for how can I close them? How can I close them? And then the customer, the client feels closed. You know what that's called? Buyer's remorse. So, you don't get referrals.
It's true.
And
that's 100% true.
In sales, guys, if you build a career the right way with integrity and honesty and humility, people search you out.
This is one of the, in our intro, it says the number one rule in business is to be of service to others, right? Yeah. And that's one of the things we say all the time. Your purpose in business is to be of service to others. Your business's purpose is to make a profit. And I think we kind of intermix those on a lot of time. When you're chasing the dollar, Yeah, you're right. You're chasing the close. You're going to do anything to manipulate and to structure a deal so that it closes. Yep. And the problem is that's the last time you're going to do business with that person.
100%. And I go back to one of my talks upcoming at a real estate office. I'm going to talk about my experience, my last realtor, and not where I live now in Costa Rica, but in Scripps, and I bought my last house. This guy, he kept talking about pools, all right? Wait to see the pool in this place. Wait to see the pool in this place. After like the 8th house, I physically grab him by the shirt. I go, dude, I don't want a pool. Like, you want a pool. I don't want a pool. And this is the cardinal mistake most salespeople make, is because they sell the way that they buy. Mm-hmm. You have to sell the way your prospect buys. Like, if I like lobster and you don't like lobster, I'm not going to keep telling you how awesome the lobster is. Try it, dude. It's amazing, right?
Well, you will.
I got to find out.
I'll tell you, I don't like lobster.
Correct. And then you're going to be pissed and so on. You got to find out how people buy. And that's one of the things I love teaching. In many of the talks I give in my training and coaching, that's what we talk about.
How big are you on asking questions?
Huge.
I mean,
and it's more important because you said something earlier that triggered a thought that I had. When you're listening, somebody says something to you, right, in sales, most people just write it down, okay? So if I said, well, what are you looking for in a home, Hernan, right? And you say, 2 stories on a cul-de-sac west of the 5. Most realtors just take that and go, okay, great, let me show you this. What they don't do is say, why a cul-de-sac? Well, we got 2 kids and a dog. Oh, cool. How old are the kids? Oh, great. My kids are. It's just they told you what they want and you just ran with it because all you want to do is make the sale and you're excited and so on.
You're jotting down a shopping list, essentially.
You never dive in, right? People never dive in. But there's another step, a third step. After they tell you more, you need to use a clarifier, okay? And that's something like, so tell me more about that, Hernan. You said you wanted a cul-de-sac because of the kids, the dog, and so on. Why else, right? Tell me more.
Now
those 4 words are huge. Tell me more. If your prospects talk more, you win. If you talk more about how great you are, how great your agency is, how great your broker is, right? We have the highest average closing. Come on, dude. Right? Everyone says the same crap. You can't all be number one. So when you all say you're number one, you're not. Right?
I love that.
But that's what everybody does. And I think the best one that y'all can pick up and use right away is just so I'm hearing you correctly, or just so I make sure I got it. And then you repeating what they just told you. So just so we're clear, the cul-de-sac is because of this, and this. Do I have that right? Yes. When people know that they're being heard, you win. And you don't do the yes ladder bullshit of just get him to say yes 5 times, right? We've heard this garbage for 40 years. I mean, it's just so.
Well,
so you want to buy a house and a car? Yep. And you shake your head so you can get him to say yes.
I do agree with the get them to say yes, but not in the sense of get them to say yes multiple times. This is a get them to engage.
Correct.
Right. So I think
not
again,
manipulation.
Right. I think
genuine conversation.
Those are the disconnects that people make. Right. It's you're trying to get them to ask, to talk. You're trying to get them to engage. You're trying to ask questions. The problem is most people don't know or have an idea of asking clarifying questions or asking why, because let's be honest, they're afraid that the prospect is going to say something or ask something they don't have an answer to.
And there's 2 easy analogies for you guys to follow too, really simple, like in baseball. Okay. If I try to hit a home run, I'm going to K. I'm going to strike out. People hit home runs when they're not trying to hit home runs. They hit home runs when they're just trying to make a solid swing. That's what most people don't understand. In sales, if you're trying to make the sale, if you have commission breath, okay, which a lot of salespeople have, and you can smell it on them because it's the end of the quarter, the end of the month, they got to hit their bonus, they got to hit their transaction goals. You can smell it when somebody's trying to sell you. Just like in baseball, you just go up, you try to have a great swing. In golf, you try to make a great swing. You're not trying to pull it out from the fairway. The other thing we've all heard is you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. You've heard that before. You ever tried to pull a horse that doesn't want to come with you?
It's a big animal.
Doesn't work.
Right, Cindy Moon? Right?
Right?
All you horse lovers out there, and especially in sales, what you look for are thirsty horses.
We talk about that all the time. There are people with their hands in the air. They're already asking for help.
That's who you look for, right? And it's the same thing. Whatever business you're in, it's the same thing for me with training and coaching. Not everybody is going to be a great client for me. I'm not going to be a great fit for them. And that's okay, because I'd much rather have fewer clients who are totally committed to doing the work that it takes, the deep work it takes, mentally, skill set wise, to be able to get to 6 figures and above. Most people aren't willing to do that, which, as you know, they go to the coaching factories. They go to the big events. Oh, it's only $500 a month, right? They never make it because they're not committed. They think it's easy. Well, everybody's doing it. I should do it. Just not going to work.
What would you say? Because you're gonna get in front of people and they're gonna be like, "I want to get to 6 figures. This is where I'm at."
Yeah.
And when somebody says, "Well, how long is it gonna take me?"
Yeah.
Is this, can I turn this around in a week? Can I turn this around in 2 months? Can I turn this around in a year?
Yeah.
This, in my mind, is more of a long tail effect. Correct. What do you normally tell people?
Yeah, it's long term. I mean, there are no overnight successes. We can sit here for the next 3 hours and talk about the Kevin Harts of the world, the Joe Rogans, all these folks, right, that are 17 years of failure. Then they became an overnight success.
Wait, you brought that up. Have you heard the Joe Rogan interview with Kevin Hart?
No, but I'll listen to it now.
Oh my gosh, that one.
Do they talk about that? Is that what they're talking about?
Kevin talks about how it takes him, for him to put a special, like an HBO special, it's like a 2-year process, and his work ethic on what he does to develop his content. I mean, it's so long term, and how he's nothing but, he lives his philosophy about being, good to people. Like there's no need to have that negativity. You need to have that positivity in your life. It's really good stuff to hear somebody who you look up to or look down to.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I had to throw that short joke in there.
But somebody who you idolize, who has a certain level of success, but then they start breaking it down into this is what it takes.
I don't know if he talked about his daily routine. He's at the gym at 4 a.m. This guy is, and he's a good dad, and but he started at Foot Locker. If you guys don't know, that was his job. And so he was so good at Foot Locker, somebody said to him, a customer, was like, dude, you should be in stand-up. And that's how it started. And then, of course, 17 years of getting kicked out of clubs, bumped, right? Being laughed at, heckled. He's playing bowling alleys. I mean, most people aren't willing to put in 16 years to have the results that he has now, where somebody says, hey, Kevin, you want to be in my film? Sure. How much? 20 million? All right. It's the years of toil and anguish people don't understand or don't want to put the commitment in, because they go to the weekend event They jump up on their chairs and high five and hug strangers, and then they think they're going to be rich by Tuesday. They wake up in their same bed on Monday with no improved skill set. They just got hopped up over the weekend.
Energy.
And, right.
Yeah.
And
They
they're
took a
$5
5-hour
grand in the
energy
hole.
and you're good.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, what about the skills? If I want to become a doctor, it's 8 to 12 years. It's 400 grand without interest, by the way, and about 25,000 hours of study residency. Then I get to make 185 grand, which is roughly median salary for a doctor.
Yeah.
10 years to make 185.
So, James, if you want to get rich quick,
Get rich slow.
get rich slow.
Yep.
It's really what it comes down to.
Yep.
It's work.
Yep.
It's work. It's work. It's work. It's
That's the key.
But I don't want to hear that. I want an instant gratification. I want to
Not gonna-
swipe left. I don't want an answer.
It ain't going to work.
Right?
Yeah. And those are the folks, unfortunately, that get taken advantage of, right? Those are the folks that are the kind of the personal growth seminar junkies. They're always going to another end. They're always buying another course, another class, and so on. But they never put the work in to do it. They just think, oh, well, he's got the 7-step system. I'm just going to do that. They do that for 10 days. It doesn't work. They quit. Now they go to a new one. It's the same people that go on diets that are these 30-day fads. A habit takes 66 days to form, not 21. That's an old wives' tale. It's 66 days to form a habit. So when most diets are 30, that's why they don't work. People haven't made the fundamental change.
Melina.
Yeah.
she had an episode on that. Sorry.
Yeah,
she
do
did.
anything for 66. I don't even care what it is, and your life will be different. Because now it becomes a habit. It's not just a fad. It's not something you're just trying to do for 30 days. It's part of your life. And that's why it works. It's the same thing in sales, right?
It's hard to break habits.
Yes,
It's a lot easier to start a new one,
correct.
I think.
And habits, generally, if we think about what habits are, it's a negative connotation. Smoking, drinking, drugs, all that stuff. But people don't really want to develop the ones that will help them in the future. Like discipline, commitment.
Stop, you're saying bad
integrity.
words.
Yeah, because they don't sell.
No,
right?
they don't. They don't.
They don't sell.
They don't. But
Quick sells.
amazingly, they do. Right? They actually do. If you talk to anybody who's been in sales for a long period of time, they don't have clients. They have friends.
Correct.
Right? Because they've developed these relationships.
Yep.
They're true #powerful relationships, right? They're
Look at them. All the top 5, top 10% of sales professionals, talk to all of them, 90% plus of their income comes to them. They're not prospecting, guys, anymore. It comes to them. And that's because of the integrity, the humility, the relationships, the connections. And their clients are their friends and vice versa. And that's how you build long-term success. Talk to anybody in whatever industry you're in, 20 years plus. Those are the types of people you want to be around. These get-rich-quick gurus, the guys that need to film their content on my plane. One of the other idiots I mentioned before, he starts his content where his face is in front of his Rolls Royce hood ornament. Like, okay, we get it. You're an asshole. Thanks. And it's funny because in the video, he's parked in a handicap spot. So what does that tell you? How ironic.
I didn't even see that.
But just be real with people and you'll have long-term relationships. And it's fun to just have business come out of nowhere. I promise you guys, it's a fun thing where you don't have to keep chasing prospects and always calling people and why don't you want to move forward, Mike? And they give you the runaround because they don't like you, because all you're trying to do is sell them. Correct.
But they won't tell you.
Correct. And you'll never find out. If you had a big giant piece of broccoli in your teeth, would you want someone to tell you?
I'd like it, yeah.
Correct. Most salespeople don't. Right? They
'Cause
just
they're
want to
afraid.
keep yapping. Yep.
They're afraid.
Yep.
Well, I mean, it's really what it comes down to. And if you do it right, you can move to Costa Rica.
Yes, sir. My house is available. July 1st.
July 1st is when you're going to be
Come on
officially.
down. Yeah. It's a long story. I bought a house a month ago, then I bought another one. It's a weird.
Making all kinds of huge choices.
Well, I convinced my neighbor to trade houses. It's a long story.
What?
What?
Talk about a sale, right?
You'll see it on social media. But, yeah,
I convinced
awesome.
my neighbor to switch houses.
it's a true story. Yeah,
Let's just trade.
yeah.
Let's trade. Equal.
Yeah.
Cool.
It did cost me a few bucks more, but when you see it,
Yeah, it'll be
you'll
worth
know
it.
what I mean. Yeah, but
Right,
that's the thing. I mean, that's a lot of times I share when I'm speaking or coaching or whatever, and people find out I live in Costa Rica, and I show them. I'm like, no, this is my house. It's not rented. I don't have my hand on a Lamborghini and make it look like it's my Lambo. Like, again, most of these other jokers out there. This is real. The stuff that I teach is real, right? And to be able to build a business around your passion, which is, for me, is fishing, right? So Costa Rica is world-class fishing. I get to fish
All the
whenever I
time.
want, and I get to build my business around that and help people build their business around their passion. You don't do your passion around your business, right? That's what people mess up, right? You build your business around your passion, right? You build your business around your life. Most people, 47% of Americans, don't even take the vacation they're given. I mean,
Time off at
half.
work, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Half.
They'd rather take the paycheck.
Literally. Like, no, don't show up to work today. We're paying you. Like, don't come in. No, I want to come in though. No, I know. But this is a paid vacation. Like, you go do. No, it's cool. They don't even take the time off. The very minimal time they get, those 2 weeks a year for the average American, don't even take it. Half of them. And people wonder why they're not so happy. Right? And that's the issue.
That's sad, man.
Yep.
Give me a 2-week vacation.
Yeah, give me a.
That's the issue, man.
He actually likes what he does, though.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's and that's one of those things where, to me, it's when you wake up in the morning, you hit the snooze button. Are you telling yourself you don't want to be awake? You'd rather be asleep for your life?
Dude, I got to tell you this. I had a realtor at one of the events I was talking at, and she came up. She goes, "Oh, so I'm interested in coaching with you. I like your personality and you're real and blah, blah, blah." And I said, "Well, tell me a little bit about you, how long you've been in the business and so on." She said, "Well, I really need somebody to like call me every day and get me up out of bed. Like and I said, hold on a second. I go, you're in the wrong business. Like, this is not for you. Like, you don't even like getting up selling real estate. That's a problem. That's why you're not having success. You don't even like what you do. It's like, so you can't help? I go, no. Well, I am helping.
Yeah.
Get out of it. I mean,
Find something
so
else.
you won't take my money? I go, no. No. You've got to do what drives you, what gives you life, right? What gets you up and
Let
excited.
me ask you, though. You were a kid who didn't talk to anybody. You didn't say anything.
Nothing.
How the hell did you know what you wanted to do?
I didn't. I mean, until Cutco came along, right? And I really understood, like, wow, I'm pretty good with interacting with people, and I believe in something. Of course, you can't sell it if you don't believe in it. And I used them. I cook, and I loved the product. I still have them today. One of the few things I brought with me to Costa Rica will not be without my Cutco knives. But I started realizing and seeing how happy, that made people. And that's what kind of got me into it. And when I left Cutco, I moved to Aflac, the company with the duck you guys have seen on TV. And so I was 14 years with Aflac, and it was the same thing. Seeing what Aflac did for people when they got sick or got hurt, and we gave them a bunch of money, and it saved their house, right? It kept their kids in school. It allowed them to pay their rent or their car. I mean, you could see what it did for people. And if you don't have that, whatever industry you're in, it's not going to be fun for you for the next 20, 30, 40 years. I mean, you have to do what you would do now for free. If you could do it for free, would you do it?
Would you do it?
Right? And I do it now. I mean, some of the people that I coach that are either a veteran or down in their luck or something. I mean, I would still help them just because they can't pay me. It's fine.
Yeah.
Whatever. Do
You've
it later,
gone to
right?
Yeah, you've gotten to that point where, well, I mean, again, you would do it for free.
Yep.
You do it anyways.
Yep.
If you're good at something, always do it for free.
and if you guys are, again, the realtors in the or real estate industry folks that are listening to this, I mean, this is your client's biggest purchase ever from now till eternity. This is a big deal. You are going literally to be a part of their life for a long time. And a number that Eric actually shared with me, Eric Gilman, 8% of clients don't remember the name of their realtor 3 or 4 years later. 8%. You sold them their biggest purchase of their life.
They don't remember who you
and
are.
Only 8% remember who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is the disconnect there? And that's because everybody's on to the next sale. What can I got to close somebody up, right? They're always on to the next sale. Most salespeople are not great at servicing, staying in touch with, right, the clients that they have. But the ones that you know that are the huge producers in whatever industry you're in, they have the best clients. Gee, you wonder why? Because they treat them like they're their only client.
Like people.
Right. Not just another transaction. And once you guys get that concept, I mean, it's a different world, you know, and you treat people with respect and dignity. And this is a big deal. They're not going to buy a pair of shoes. I mean, this is a big deal. So when you do the first call close crap, you try to get them to sign the listing agreement the first time you see them. That's insane to me. It's insane. I would never bring a listing agreement. You guys can disagree, agree or not. I would never, ever do that in a first meeting. Never, ever. They have to be totally comfortable with you to part with $500,000, $1 million. And we're trying to say, yep, I'm good with you. I just met you for 30 minutes, but sure. That's the way people think. It just doesn't work like that. So if you're okay with making lots and lots of sales and getting lots and lots of customers, the second, third, or fourth time you see people, you're going to have a long career. If you're all about this instant gratification, instant close, I got to hit my quota, all this crap, you're going to be doing that for the next 30 years, if you're even in sales at that point.
Without an exit strategy.
Yep.
Dude, such sombering yet promising, you know, like advice right here.
Yeah, once people embrace this stuff and they make the changes up here, right, that it's necessary for them to do that,
well, let's face it,
sky's the limit.
That's the golden rule, right? Treat others how you want to be treated. It's pretty basic. It's pretty simple.
Somebody else, a great influencer of mine, Dan Negroni, Dan shared with me something called the platinum rule. Now, he didn't invent it. I think somebody here in San Diego did, but the platinum rule is actually more relevant to what we're talking about than the golden rule. The golden rule says treat someone as you would want to be treated. Think about the lobster analogy.
All right. Yeah.
Why would I make you? I want lobster. You should want lobster, right? So the platinum rule is treat others how they want to be treated, not how you want to be treated.
I might have to steal that one.
Steal it. And give credit to Dan. But that's the way we sell. We should sell. Sell the way that they buy, not the way that you buy.
As a teacher, you would understand that. Teach the way that they learn.
Correct.
Yes.
My first course, I had a drip. So it was 12 modules. And the first module was week 1, right? You couldn't get to week 2 until you finished week 1, right? Yeah. And then one of my clients, he goes, Steve, what the hell are you doing? I go, what? He goes, dude, I want to dive in. Like, I'm pumped. Like, I want to learn from you. I want, like, lesson 11, like, today. I said, but no, that's not how it works. And he goes, no, dude, that's not how it works for me. Like, I learn from massive info and diving in. You learn from one step at a time. Don't project your learning onto me and other people. So from that point on, I opened up the course that anybody can get anything they want at any time. And I'm thankful that he told me that because I was teaching the way that I learned.
Yeah.
And that's the cardinal rule of sales that I broke myself. So I'm always learning. I always try to learn from other people, but that's a great point. Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming over today.
Yeah, thanks, man.
I love learning. It is the funnest thing I could do. Like if I could do this all day long and just like, I always do the same analogy, matrix me, just like plug it in and give me all the information I possibly can. I'm a deep diver too. I'm like, if I got time, I'm on an audiobook or I'm on a podcast or I'm like, just give me more information.
That's the difference. That's why you have a certain amount of people that are successful and the most amount are not, because their matrix is Netflix. Their matrix is TV for 4 hours a day, which is what the average American watches, 4 hours a day. Those same people are the ones that say, I don't have time.
Mm-hmm. You don't make time. You don't prioritize your time.
We all have the same time. Like my clock works like yours, but it's what we choose to do with it. So the people that we all know that are binge watching, right? Binge drinking, binge eating, we associate those words with binging. I don't know very many people that binge personal growth, right? Very few people that are binge personal growthers, right?
I'm a nerd.
But that's the difference. That's why you're successful. That's why these very few people are, because they spend their time learning. Once they learn it, they got it. Then they can do whatever they want.
My favorite thing is once I learn it, I share it.
Yep.
Like that, to me, that's the... I talk about this all the time where, like, you think you know something, you don't really know it until you try to teach it to somebody.
Yep.
When you try to teach it to somebody, that's where you learn real quick if that's something that you know or that you think you know. I mean, there's a big difference.
Absolutely. And a lot of people, they think they know it all. We all know who those people are. And once you like tell yourself that you're great, you're awesome, you know everything, I mean, you're dead. Right? You're dead. You cannot go through life thinking you know everything when you literally know about that much. Right? So it's important. Always share things. And for those of you guys that have teams or are mentoring other people, don't hide stuff. Don't hoard it. I mean, when you find something that works, share it. It'll come back to you a millionfold. Hey, dude, I found this way to do an open house. Hey, dude, I found this way to meet new clients or get more referrals or whatever on social media. I found this post that worked. Share with people. People want to be around other people that share. They don't want to be around other people that are selfish. And so just an important tip I think was great to bring up there.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. All right, Steve. I'm sure we went way over our time.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Whatever,
cool.
man. We're good.
I
love talking.
I loved it.
Yeah, personal growth, help, sharing, man. It's
For real.
all good, man.
Talking to this camera right here, this is gonna be you.
What's up, man?
Let people know how to get a hold of you. I mean, they know, like, and trust you now for sure.
Well, hey, we'll see what happens on some of my aggressive anti-salesmanish posts. But you can find me on LinkedIn, of course, right? Steve Heroux. Find me on Victory Selling. That's victorysellingeasy, right? .com. You can find me on Instagram at the Steve Heroux, TheSteveHeroux. And so, again, hopefully I'll get to see you in San Diego soon. If you're hitting up Lab Coat Agents Live, June 17th, 18th, 19th, that range, will be great to see you guys as well.
Connect.
Thanks.
Stop them. Take a picture.
And an email, steve@victoryselling.com. Would love to hear from you, your feedback, your thoughts. Again, I'd love to hear from people who maybe have a different thought, a different way of viewing things. Again, I love to learn and hear what I could do better. So if you heard something today you think could help or maybe help other people, please share with me. Please reach out. I appreciate it.
Well, you know, one of the biggest things I take away from today is speak your truth. You already know in your gut with whatever you're watching, you're looking at, you're saying is right or wrong.
100%.
Right? You know, trust your gut. Right? Oftentimes, if you're taking a multiple choice test, trust your gut. If you know you're going to do something, trust your gut. Your gut, you know, will you be wrong once in a while? Sure. But you know that whatever you did it with full heart and conviction.
And I forget who told me this, and this is a good one to end on, but I don't know if it was Jim Rohn or one of the other thought leaders, but when you tell the truth, you never have to remember what you said.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's actually in the code of ethics for our company.
Yeah.
Tell the truth and you'll never have to remember a thing.
Yep.
It's true. If you lie, remembering lies gets hectic after a while. Which lie did you tell to who and to what?
Just tell the truth. Sometimes honest. It hurts. Hey, someone's got to do it. Why not you?
That's true.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, and just agreeing with what you said, you know, how being your true self, just being authentic, you know, that's what makes the best salespeople, just being you.
And it's the easiest thing we have to do. We don't have to get told how to be ourselves, right? That's it.
Love
Absolutely.
it.
Thanks, boys.
Of course. Thank you for coming on the show.
Did we get our shout out?
Appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. I always forget the shout out. Who do you think will be a good guest to have on the program?
It's funny. I just had lunch with a good friend of mine, Brad's son. It's a State Farm agent. We were just talking about insurance. Same type of guy. Again, you are the average, right, of your top 5 friends. And he's a great guy. Also heart-centered. I would love to give him a shout out and maybe have you guys connect after, because I think you get along great. So
Perfect.
you're the man, Brad.
We're going to reach out
Thanks
to you,
for
Brad.
lunch.
Thanks for lunch. Always love that.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, quick reminder, 365 pairs of shoes by the end of the year. If you have any new, used, cash donations, 619-884-0045 or james@csfirst.com. Hit him up. He'll ride over in his Harley. And, of course, if you want to add insurance into your business, maybe you have a mortgage company, tax office, something like that, you want to add insurance, let us know. And for all your insurance needs, again, James, 619-884-0045 or james@csfirst.com. That's all we got for you guys today. Peace.
See y'all.
Bye-bye.
And we're out. Thanks, Facebook.
Thanks,
y'all.
Facebook. Love you guys. We'll see you again in a couple hours.
Woo-woo.
There
And
it
now
is.
the world changes.